All right. AI isn't killing your business. Your offer flow is. That is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what a live audit revealed about the real reason a service provider that's inside of my community is losing revenue and losing opportunity. So, I want to talk to you today in this episode I want to talk to every single service based business owner listening to this right now. Okay. Because if you have felt like in the last 12 to 18 months, like your industry is shifting underneath you, like the thing you've been doing is getting harder to sell, harder to price, harder to justify, this episode is for you. Okay. I recently did an Ask Melissa Anything session inside of my Hive community, and a woman named Nikki showed up with a question that stopped me in my tracks. Not because it was unusual, but because I hear versions of this constantly right now. Nikki is a 26-year graphic designer, and her done for you clients were drying up. Her pipeline of high ticket was drying up. Sound familiar? She wanted to pivot to digital downloads, cohorts, semi passive income models. She was throwing a lot of spaghetti against the wall without a lot of logic while throwing her expertise out the window. Okay. She had no idea where to start or how to connect any of it. She just wanted something passive and she wanted something digital. Okay. What happened next is what I want to walk you through today. Okay. Because what I saw in Nikki's business is in about 60 seconds, literally what I saw in her business in about 60 seconds is what I want you to see in yours if you're a service provider. Okay. So here's how Nikki described her situation. She had a done for you graphic design work that had been heavily referral based. I work with a lot of high ticket clients like this over on LinkedIn, whether they're executive coaches or, gosh, there's all the things, right? From a high ticket perspective, sales consultants, fractional, all kinds of work, right? But she was finding all of a sudden that she's in this referral based feast or famine, and it was starting to dry up. And she had ideas, digital download, a cohort, some kind of passive income. She just wanted to know where to start. And she was asking herself the wrong questions. They were all disconnected. They were just floating ideas with no logic and no threading, which if you join me in my offer flows that create millions masterclass in the coming weeks, you'll know what threading means and why it matters. Okay. So there was no logic. There was no threading together. And underneath all of it was truly just fear that I hear from service providers constantly right now, right? It underneath all of it was this panic. This am I becoming obsolete? Is AI taking over my business? Because everyone is running to AI. And if you're a designer, a copywriter, a social media manager, a bookkeeper, you've probably felt that, right? Let me know in the chat, right? You've watched clients start doing things themselves with AI tools. You've watched your rates get questioned. You've been even starting to question whether your expertise still has a place in this market, right? And I want you to sit in that feeling for just a second, not long, but I want you to sit in that for just a second because this is exactly what Nikki was feeling, right? This is where she was. And here's what most people do when they feel that way, okay? They panic. They start to throw shit against the wall, right? They start building disconnected offers from a place of panic, trying to replace their revenue. Digital download here, a course there, a membership there. None of it talks to each other. There's no logical steps. None of it connected. None of it threading into a logical buyer journey. Write that down. Logical buyer journey. Okay. That is an offer problem disguised in an identity crisis. Okay. And what Nikki needed was not more ideas. She needed someone to flip her entire frame in literally 60 seconds, right? That's what we did. Okay. So here's what I saw when Nikki described her situation. It was actually universal, even though I know that many of you feel like it's just you that it's happening to. And I want you to pay attention to this because this is exactly the kind of diagnostic thinking we do inside my upcoming Offer Flows Masterclass. Again, I'll be dropping the link in the chat. You can come join me and learn more about it, right? But let's talk about this, okay? Nikki was describing herself as a graphic designer trying to figure out how to create a low ticket offer to combat the drop in her done for you clients, right? She was just throwing spaghetti against the wall and not actually thinking about an architecture and offer flow that could actually create more dreamy clients, more profitable business, and more revenue than she's likely ever seen before if she could reframe her front door. Okay? If she could reframe her front door, right? So Nikki was describing herself as a graphic designer trying to figure out how to create a low ticket offer to combat the drop in that done for you clients, right? And this is the wrong lens. Here is what I actually said to her, right? This is what I actually said to her. I said, Nikki, you have to evolve or become obsolete. You have to evolve or become obsolete and left behind. And I didn't mean that from a place of fear. Let me tell you that she was actually wildly excited by the time we were done with this. Maybe, Nikki, you'll hear this and see this, right? She needed to evolve to become a brand strategist teaching AI how to design like your brand. She needed to embrace where the market is headed, but layer her 26 years of experience, right? And that category belongs to no one right now. Many of you in the service space, your business is being cannibalized by techies who know nothing about your industry, and they're creating skills in AI agents that are garbage because you're running away from AI replacing your work versus embracing AI to create tools and resources that actually enhance and amplify what you do. Okay? There is a massive category that's not been overtaken yet that Nikki can own. A bunch of techies are creating skills around brand, and the output is sludge. Has anyone tried it? Right? Even Claude design is difficult for most average humans. Believe me, I'm not dumb. I'm actually a pretty smart woman, and I spent quite some time playing with Claude, and I'm still not loving the output. It's not to my expectations as a multi-seven-figure brand, right? So this category of one opportunity that's there and nobody owns it for the next less than 26, especially, let's talk about this. No one owns the branding space of AI with someone with over 26 years of branding experience. No one credibly is owning this. Those that are cranking out branding tools right now are techies with no experience. This is where many of you in the service-based space are losing market share because you're not stepping into the current market. Okay. I know I've lived with this in my own brand, right? Trying to get these skills, trying to get these resources, using the garbage AI agents that have been shared, and the output is sludge, right? So I believe I'm seeing it now, an industry like this in the brand area, the next 18 months are a massive opportunity to create state-of-the-art custom tools that you own, that you become the architect of, that build your current brand, right? Your future brand before it becomes mainstream, right? And here's why this matters, right? Because right now, businesses are building with AI at volume. It's a different game than even 6 months ago, right? And the output looks like slop, right? We know this because we're experiencing it. I coach mentors nonstop, right? And here's the bottom line. What I keep finding is that the people selling these AI skills, they don't know brand. Can I say this one more time? They don't know brand. And people who know brand are running from AI, like Nikki, saying, oh my gosh, my pipeline is drying up. Let me go do something different and new, right? But her 26 years of experience is not a liability in this market. I want all of you to hear this. If your offer flow is proper, which we're going to talk about in a minute, it becomes her unrepeatable moat. It becomes her moat, right? And here is the window, because there is a window, right? She's about 12 to 18 months before tech founders figure out how to replicate what she knows, I know this without a shadow of a doubt because I have already created specific skills within my own company that no one else has access to, that we create luxury results and output and analysis internally for our clients because I took the time to build the skills in my company, from offer flow to premium messaging. And no one outside my wall, proprietary, no matter how much you leverage AI skills, are you going to get the phenomenal output that my clients are getting based off of what I built, right? So she has a window, just like I've had a window, right? She is about, again, just maybe a year and a half away from the techies figuring it out before she can gain market share right now, which means right now, today, she can own a category that nobody else can credibly claim. Not a graphic designer, because most of them are running from AI. Not an AI builder, because they don't know graphic design. Are you following me here? Right? The brand strategist who teaches AI how to think like your brand is in high demand, right? Let's not run from it. Let's own it and create an offer flow behind it. That one sentence changed her entire energy, her excitement, and her business. And this is what I mean when I say some founders are so close to their own genius that they can't see what the market is actually paying for and how to change the front door to your services. So here's the offer build I created for her in a matter of minutes that creates the offer flow that actually still leads to a $15,000 done for you client. Okay, hear me out. So once we had the reframe locked in, here is the offer flow I built for Nikki in that live session. Okay. And I want you to listen to this, not just as Nikki's story, but as a framework for how a connected offer flow actually works. Okay. Because this is exactly what we're going to be building in offer flows that create millions. The link to register is in the chat below, right? And this is what we're doing for your business and your is assessing your offer flow, right? So what I did is I offered a 3-tiered approach to create a natural offer flow that would generate repeatable income and naturally ascend high ticket clients. Tier 1, and here's the key, everything I suggested makes logical sense to build momentum for the premium client to ascend into the mid and higher ticket offers. Logical sense, not a junk drawer full of offers, not a junk drawer full of things that don't talk to each other, offers that thread with Hansel and Gretel stepwise, moving people up the offer ladder. Tier 1 was the free lead magnet. This is how we grow at volume our top of funnel traffic. Something like a branded AI prompt vault based on her years of experience that is a downloadable resource that gives business owners a taste of what it's actually like when AI actually understands their brand. This begins to grow her list and it filters in her exact right buyer, right? This is not about low level. This is about a taste of her luxury brand and experience, right? Now, tier 2, now your premium buyer is walking through the front door, and now we have the low ticket cart bump. This could be at checkout, it could be in the nurture, something like a branded carousel engine, maybe $17 to $47 offer that teaches buyers how to use AI to create on-brand content for their social media. Now, this does 2 things for her. It qualifies buyers who are willing to invest. They get their credit card out. Just like my offer flows that create millions, it's not free. It is a filter. It is $22, right? It qualifies buyers who are willing to invest in themselves, and it gives them a taste of her expertise, and it makes them want more, right? As a matter of fact, she can give of really high value with that $27, $37 low ticket cart bump, but it also demonstrates that maybe that manual lift is not what they want. They want more support. They want instant feedback. They want community, right? So this does two things because it qualifies those that are willing to invest, right, in her expertise, and it gives them a taste of her expertise and makes them want more, right? And the moment they plug into her methods, they start to see their brand reflected back at them. Guess what? What's behind door number three? What's behind door number three? Now, the offer flow needs to make logical sense. So now we're opening the door to the mid-ticket cohort, right? So that cohort, the group that she was playing around with, now it makes logical sense. She has a mid-ticket cohort that's like the AI brand lab, right? A program where Nikki builds the AI infrastructure with you inside the company. You learn how to create the skill, customize it for your company, customize it for your brand, right? And then you realize the lift it takes. And naturally, this opens the door to the final tier, right? Where someone whose time is more valuable than money, hello, me, right? I will pay you to come into the back-end architecture of my AI brain and do a high-end, done for you, custom AI branded architect within everything that I'm building in my business, right? This is anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 for this 6, 7, and 8-figure business that needs a brand overhaul. This is opportunity, my friends. And you can create logical funnel that takes you right into that offer instead of becoming obsolete, right? This would be Nikki's highest value offer, and it sells itself once someone has gone through the lower tiers and sees what's possible and the quality, right? Now, here is what I need you to notice about the offer flow. Every single tier spoke to the same buyer, okay? Every single tier, the entrepreneur trying to use AI to build their brand and is frustrated that the output is generic, right? Each tier creates this natural desire for the next one. There's logic, there's threading, there's no random junk drawer. There is a logical thread that takes a cold stranger and walks them all the way to a $15,000 client, right? And I do this every single month without sales calls. And this is what we're going to be talking about in offer flows that creates millions. That is an offer flow. That, once built, becomes passive and recurring income. It's not passive at first. You have to slow down and do the work. You have to freaking think, right? You have to slow down. I say play a game of chess, think 3 steps ahead, map it out, make logical sense instead of throwing spaghetti against the wall. And you have the ingredients for one in your business right now. You just need to map out how they are connected and throw the ones out that don't make logical sense. Okay, so here's why I told you Nikki's story, because Nikki's situation is specific, but the problem is universal. Most of you have genius that this market desperately needs right now, and you're just wrapping it in yesterday's wrapping paper. And I mean that literally. The offer, the framework, the expertise, it's all there. What is missing is the architecture that connects it and presents it in a way that the current market responds. Okay? So let me give you 3 quick questions to sit with after this episode. Okay? Question number 1, what do you know that the market is trying to figure out right now, but getting wrong? What are they trying to figure out right now, but getting wrong? That is your category of 1, not what you do, but what you know that others don't. Okay. Question number 2, do you have a front door that filters in your actual premium buyer, or are you attracting everyone and exhausting yourself trying to convert the wrong people because you don't have a good filter? Okay. Number 3, does each offer have logical desire for the next, or are your offers living in separate silos that require you to manually sell each one? I love waking up every day and seeing sales in every price point. I have $22 sales. I have $200 sales. I have $500 sales. I have $3,000 sales. I had 2 Inner Circle members renew at $15,000 today and 2 days ago, right? I love the full offer flow running and humming daily. not requiring me to push people through because it makes logical sense how we're opening the doors to the next step. Okay. So if any one of these questions made you a little uncomfortable, good. Okay. This discomfort is your income leak showing itself. And that is exactly what we're going to fix together at Offer Flows that Create Millions. The link is dropped below. You can register. Yes, it's $22. If you don't want to invest, this is not for you, right? I filter out folks who aren't ready to invest. I also believe that when you invest, you show up. And when you show up, you get results, right? Now, we're going to take a look at your offer flow, find the kinks. We're going to map the architecture, and we're going to get you clear on exactly what needs to change, right? I did this for Nikki in about 25 minutes. Imagine 3 days together and what it's going to do for yours. The link is below. Hope to see you there. Hope you guys have a